Okay, it looks like people are logging on and that I can start. So I hope that everybody's here, and as everybody joins us, they will log in and be able to start from the very, very start. So please don't worry about other people. I want to welcome you, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this happy Sunday. My name is Karen Eldad, and I'm the creator of Date with Enthusiasm. My coaching practice with enthusiasm is a provider of happy hearts all over the world. And today, just for you, we are broadcasting my blockbuster talk that so far has only been shown in select cities across the United States, called 7 Steps to Soulmate. It's been featured on Bravo's Personal Space. It's been featured in Women's Wear Daily even. But I really want you to know that it's a huge privilege to give this opportunity to you to watch this and to enjoy this full talk. Just a little housekeeping before we get rolling. If you have any questions during the presentation, just type them into the question box on the Zoom control panel or that little chat box, and I'm going to bring them up after the presentation and address any questions that you may have. We're going to have questions at the end. After that, I want you to stick around until I wrap up, because I will be giving you super valuable freebies. Now, without further ado, let's go to the presentation. For those joining us exactly on time, Mazel Tov. And for those joining us a little bit later or in the replay, good for you. Enjoy the ride. So, without further ado, I am about to now share my screen so that you guys can start the presentation. Hey there, superstars. This is Coach Karen Eldad here. Thank you so much for joining me for today's talk, 7 Steps to Soulmate. I'm a certified coach and the founder of With Enthusiasm Coaching, and my online and one-on-one programs are designed to wake you up, shake you up, and help you unleash your full potential. And we're going to do the exact same thing for your love life, right here, right now. I promise you, for the next 45 minutes, we are going to tell you exactly what to do to get to your soulmate. And we are also going to make you feel really good. Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, you will enjoy this. You're going to learn the definition of what a soulmate is, and you're going to learn how to make that dynamic active in your life right now and for good. I like to start with a story. In April of 2009, the United States was recovering from an economic dip, and I was recovering from a breakup. It was a time when I found myself rather bummed out because this particular breakup had come on the heels of 3 others. I had just completed another one of what I liked to call McRomances, a 3-month stint with a faceless, nameless gent who today I barely even remember. Back then, the mini breakup had me feeling empty, and it also had me getting a little bit hopeless since they were all clustered together. So as I contemplated how to deal, I decided that there could be only one solution. Mistakenly, I decided not to deal with the grief or the frustration and try to turn that mindset around. Instead, I decided that I would get married, and that I would get married by taking action. And of course, when you make a decision, the universe conspires to help you. And so as I dug around for ways to get married as soon as possible, I found 2 accomplices. The first was an episode of Oprah that I found where she interviewed Louise Hay and others. And everyone on that show talked about something that was similar to what The Secret taught us. And it was simply to make a list of what you want in a partner if you want to get married. That was the first thing that came up. And the second thing was that I found an article in The Atlantic called Marry Him, the Case for Settling for Mr. Good Enough. And in it, the author wrote that at a certain age, we need to get over ourselves basically and realize that for the good things in life, you need a partner. Now, Note, by good things, she meant financial stability, because you can't do that on your own. Children, because you can't do that on your own. And of course, having a date on holidays and for wedding season. As I was 31 at that time and approaching near death, or so I believed, I took both pieces of shitty advice or flat advice with no grain of salt, and I went for the best thing that I thought I could get. Basically, writing that checklist in the most superficial way possible. Here are a few things that made it onto my checklist. Good hair, tall, obviously. No chest hair, this was extremely important to me. Great job, translation, works in finance, very high salary. Speaks 4 languages, is European, and I also wrote, has been in New York for under 3 years, so is not jaded by the dating scene. You know, going for has money instead of is really nice to me seemed logical at the time. But today, if I ever meet that author in real life, I'm going to literally throw a shoe at her head because I got what I wanted. Now, this part I do want you to internalize. The universe will always send you exactly what you're asking for. So you really need to understand what you're asking for. That's what this entire session is all about. Where my life got very amazing that particular year was that within a week of writing this checklist, I met a guy in the elevator of my building. He shared that elevator with me going up, and after I got off and went to bed, even though I had not said a single word to him, he rode back downstairs to get my number from the doorman, who gave it to him. That man is Cedric. He's 5'11", which I guess is tall enough. He's Swiss German, which qualifies him as European. He is completely chest hair free. Alas, the poor schmuck only speaks 3 languages, but I gave him a pass for that. And when we met, he had been in New York City for 2 years, working for UBS as a private banker. After a year of dating, I married Cedric. And we lived happily ever after. The end of the talk. Just kidding. Instead, we got divorced just 2 years later. And why? Because even though he did really have good hair, we were deeply incompatible. Imagine that. No matter what we looked like on paper, no matter what we looked like on Instagram, we were a horribly mismatched couple. And after the divorce, I finally did take the time. I took the time that you're supposed to take after a breakup to really think, to really get in touch with yourself. I turned inward with genuine curiosity. You see, I wanted to figure out what the misstep has been, but I also knew more than ever I had ever known before that I really wanted big, empowering, everlasting love. It's the kind of love I want for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it is my mission to teach you how to get the love that you deserve. So let's start here. If you have come down here with a countdown to your wedding and you just want to fill a seat, throw it out the window right now. Replace that impatience, replace that desperate, repelling energy, that nonsense that only attracts junk, with an open mind and an open heart. And let's get you leaving this talk today with a clear picture of who you are and what you really, truly want so that you can get out there and really get it. In order to do this, I'm going to ask you for a big favor. Stay open. You see, throughout this talk, I'm going to ask you to embrace some concepts that you might consider far out. And if these make you twinge, like the definition of a soulmate, encourage yourself gently to stick around and see what happens. Similarly, throughout this talk, you may hear me say some stuff that has you thinking, oh, I know that already. But here's the thing, honey, you can always still learn something. No one is in a perfect relationship. No one has this all figured out. And you'd rather be happy than right. So my suggestion here is to either choose to believe anything anyway, or to get curious and ask yourself, when you think, I know that already, what can I still learn here? So stay with me, and now let's dive right in. Take a deep breath in Join me in this energy and let a deep breath out. Let's begin. Step 1 to getting your soulmate is to decide that soulmates exist. That's right. Step 1, just to believe. If this already made you fidget or wrinkle your nose, let me stop you right there and ask you what I just asked you to do. Believe in it anyway. Beginning the process of changing your life means being open to challenging the thought patterns that have held you back. In other words, in certain respects, you're going to have to unlearn what you think you know. Maybe this means challenging an idea that you've developed that people just meet, like each other, and then try to make it work. But if you want to manifest a soulmate, not a partner, not a business partner, a soulmate, you have to choose to believe in the concept of soulmates. The first step to finding your soulmate is to believe that there is such a thing. I know it's hard to accept the spiritual, the woo-woo concepts like soulmates in our deeply pragmatic world. But this is a good time to inject a definition and make it pretty sturdy for you. The concept of soulmate has evolved from many spiritual practices and most religions. In many of these practices, from Buddhism to Kabbalah, including Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Mormonism, the belief in soulmates is the belief in two persons who are destined for each other, preordained to meet by the heavens. It's intertwined with the ideas of reincarnation and karma because the premise is not only that there are soulmates, but that we need to connect with them during our time on earth in order to do our soul's work, to elevate. And further, the law of soulmates, the definition of soulmates, states that nothing will keep your soulmate away from you. Not even if they are married to someone else when you meet them, not even if somebody has to die. And I'll tell you a great example of this in a second. Your soulmate is absolutely ordained for you and must come to you because you need them for the elevation of your consciousness in this lifetime, and they need you for the elevation of your consciousness in this lifetime. And so the soulmate relationship is about growth. It's about learning. And if so, you can also see how there can be more than one soulmate during a lifetime. For some people, there can be more than one soulmate because their growth requires more than one big lesson. And above all, this is not a dramatic relationship. The soulmate relationship flows. So if you think that they're there to teach you a lesson by coming in and blowing up your life, you're wrong. They're just a wonderful, harmonious relationship that demands the best of you and that challenges you to think of life in a completely different way. Now let's make this real for you through an example. For me, Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles come to mind when I think of soulmates. Whether you like them or not, and even if you, like me and the rest of the world, adored Princess Diana, you can see by now that these two have been and remain the love of each other's lives since the moment they met. And they made it through every obstacle. His divorce, her divorce, the death of Diana, the world's contempt for her, for Camilla. When you think about it, wouldn't you agree that this seems to have been the witnessing of a decision of the soul? An almost involuntary, unnecessary love story? Let yourself take a moment today to be inspired by this. So now you have a full definition of soulmates. Now, for those of you who are not with their soulmate right now, let me invite you to take this into the physical possibility. This is very easy to do. Think about this right now. Unless you're really into dating fetuses, you know that the next person you're going to be with has been born and is around, right? You know that the next person you will be with, soulmate or not, already exists. So if you want to attach yourself to the concept of soulmate, know that they are already roaming the planet and they're already looking for you. And if you're in a relationship and you've been wondering, is this my soulmate or not? And especially because you're not constantly dousing each other in champagne and you're not currently in a relationship with George Clooney or Gal Gadot, perhaps this soulmate relationship definition can encourage you to see soulmate love in a way that you hadn't considered before. As you accept this possibility that your great soulmate's purpose is the elevation of your soul and yours, the elevation of theirs, you will get closer to enjoying love that knows no bounds. And with this, I'd like to introduce your first exercise. In the worksheet you have before you, I want you to write down your intention after this talk. Your intention can be, I am going to manifest my soulmate this year, or from this moment on, my partner and I are stepping into a redefinition of our love as soulmate love. When you set your intention, you set a very clear standard for yourself, and our standards are always met. I hope you'll take the time to do this today. There are a lot of studies to back up writing your intention, setting your intention, and really seeing your desire with no doubt. If you can do this, you'll be one step closer. That's a promise. And step 2, create a vision for your soulmate. Is very similar to setting that intention and now bringing it into living color. Let me tell you another story. In the 90s, there was a gorgeous young thing in Florida named Tara Holland, and she dreamed about being Miss America. In 1994, she entered the contest for Miss Florida, in which she won second place, the runner-up. You'd think that she would be happy about this, but Tara wanted to be Miss America, and so this wasn't enough. The following year, she tried even harder. She rolled batons and learned speeches about how she wanted world peace, walked up and down, and again, she only made it to second place. So this time, Tara, like any superstar, decided to do things differently in order to manifest a different result. And here's what she did. She moved back to Kansas, her home state, new place, new luck. And here's the critical thing that she did. She rented every tape at Blockbuster of Miss America pageants that she could find. She then proceeded to watch these tapes over and over and over again until she had the contest pat down. She was consumed with the contest. She dreamed Miss America, and here's the key. She saw herself in her mind winning and putting on that crown. She pictured herself during the victory walk and the wave, and she started to see herself more and more every day in her mind as that winner. And of course, in 1997, Tara Holland won the Miss America pageant. She did it, and she did it because she had seen it in her mind. Here's what I want you to understand. You will produce what you continually see in your mind. If you see success, you will see success. If you see love, you will see love, and nothing will keep these away from you. Soulmate love follows the creation of an inner template, or as coaches call it, a mental counterpart. We want to open up things inside of you that actually make you feel right here and right now that which you desire is already present and available to you. That's why I also told you, single people out there, to remember that they're already out there. So here's what I want you to do next. Your second exercise on the worksheet, which I invite you to do tonight, is to see what your soulmate love or what your soulmate life looks like. Here are 2 important Coach Karen extras for you. Number 1, don't be superficial. Don't make a dumb, flat checklist like I did in 2009. Instead, create a vision board from the right consciousness, right from the truth of who you are. Look for the person whose qualities bring you ease and joy rather than a feast for the eyes. So instead of a vision board filled with pictures of Ryan Gosling, perhaps you'd like to fill it with pictures of Phil Dunphy from Modern Family or any other character that evokes to you really the feeling that you're going for. And the second thing I want you to do is not to limit your vision. Triple your vision. I do not care if you have been only in relationships that have been abusive, you can see hugs and kisses and ease. Or if you're over 50 and have never had children or a marriage, you can still see children in your future. You can be, do, and have whatever you want. Nothing will put a limit on you. Think big, dream big, and go for what you really, truly want. And for those who are in a relationship, you can do this too. The natural state of the soulmate relationship is growth. And so ask yourself, where are we going? What is the next step? Are we moving in together? Are we getting a puppy? Are we having another child? Are we having our first child? Are we moving into a bigger house? Are we creating another empire? Whatever you want, put it down there. Create this magnificent vision board for yourself and visit it often. All I can tell you from a long time in coaching is this stuff works. Step 3, lose the fatal flaw. One of the most common things that I hear in coaching when someone has come in looking to change their love life is the kind of stuff that's tripping them up. It's this belief that there's something so horrible about them that if somebody else sees it, they won't love them. Not fully anyway. For example, they'll say, if only I could lose 15 pounds, I would find him. Or, it's so much harder to find a soulmate when you're over 30 or over 40. Or, dating is so unbearable when you have these freckles or this debt or this third nipple. This is all the same nonsense. So many people are scared of this inability to be seen for the totality of what they are. I'm about to prove this to you as nonsense. My sainted grandmother passed away just a month and a half ago. When she was in her late 30s, she was the mother of 8 children, and her husband died. So there she is, a widower, and she was very poor, and she had lots of kids. Everything about her thought that these were too many flaws, these were too many burdens, and that she was done for. But she somehow managed to overcome these doubts for long enough to get out of the house, shake a leg, get a new job, and above all, meet my grandfather. When my grandfather laid eyes on her for the first time, which he described until the very, very day that he passed away, he said, I couldn't see the children. I couldn't see the need. All I could see was this beautiful, wonderful woman. They spent the rest of their lives together. I want you not to worry about any flaw that you think you have, because soulmate love sees no flaws. If you suffer from the idea that something about you is terrible or wrong or must be overcome for someone to love you, drop it right now. That's not how love works. I don't know where you got these ideas. Your last girlfriend told you you don't make enough money. Your mom told you you're too old to get married. Maybe society has taught you some lessons, but love doesn't work that way. Love is blind to these things. It's entirely blind. Do you remember the last time that you were in love? Now tell me, was there any point in the heat of that beautiful passion where you looked down and you thought, they're amazing, but I don't like their feet? No, that's not how soulmate love works. Soulmate love sees no flaws. And here's how this plays out in a relationship. In a relationship, this means your love is and remains unconditional. Any Friends fans in the house? I'm sure there are a lot of you out there. So for you, I'd like to remind you of an episode where Monica and Chandler, the very funny, central, stable couple in the series, come up against shark porn. Let me explain. For those who maybe don't remember it so well, or those who've never watched Friends, because apparently there are people like this. In the episode, Monica surprises her husband, Chandler, while he's on a business trip in another state, staying at a hotel. As she enters his hotel room, she catches him doing, that. He freaks out as he hears her opening the door, switching his channel from porn to the Discovery Channel. And in the mix-up, Monica jumps to the conclusion that he's way too into sharks. But instead of freaking out and having a huge discussion about how shark porn could come between them, Monica plans an elaborate evening of mutual shark attack viewing to accommodate her husband. She was in Ride or Die, and that is how soulmate does love. Step 4, lose the negativity. I had an awesome client last year who was just the best. I adored her. And when we started working together, she was 37, absolutely gorgeous, and perpetually single. So she wanted to get her life together. And we got to the heart of the matter very, very quickly just by listening to her when she talked about her dating life. She would say a few things. Let me know if you think that any of these sound familiar. Dating is so hard in the city. I have no luck in love. I have no time to date. There are no good men. If this is you, let me ask you a question. Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? I think it's time for you to get happy because you can legit see and believe that dating is hard or that you actually don't have time, but it is your focus on seeing these things that way or your determination to keep seeing things that way that keep making them so. They're not the truth. Oh, you think they are the truth? Everybody says they're the truth. It is hard to date. Well, here's the thing. These cannot be the truth if there's even one case that negates your statement. So let's, for example, examine dating is so hard in this city. Allow me to introduce you to me. In the 5 years that I've been single, I have never once found dating to be hard. I like it. I get to dress up. I get to be fawned over. I get free drinks. Sure, there's an occasional really, really weird dud or the occasional heartbreak. But wrap your head around the following, ladies and gentlemen. You do not get served anything that you can't deal with. And for the most part, it's really fun. So it's not true for me. And it's also not true for J-Lo. That's two people that you know for whom dating is really fun. How about you get with the program and understand that you can not only make it look fun or pretend, you can actually have fun. Similarly, stop with the saying that there are no good men. This makes absolutely no sense. Was the guy that my friend Lauren just got engaged to the last man standing after an apocalypse? There's been no genocide of good men. I'm on Bumble every other day. There are thousands of them. And there are thousands of good women. We are in New York frickin' city. And in every city that I give this talk, there happen to be plenty of good, decent, and wonderful people. Focus on the possibility, focus on the abundance, and date with joy, and then just watch what happens. Here's the deal. Saying that dating is hard, thinking that the odds are against you, or that you've somehow been forgotten in love, thinking that you're somehow undateable, or that it's really, really hard for you to find somebody worthy. And by the way, if you're in a relationship, thinking and saying that marriage or relationships are hard work, thinking that love ends anyway, saying things like men are unreliable or women are only after money, and by the way, not believing in soulmates, these are all common ways to keep yourself away from love. This cynicism is just born of the ego. It's your internal shield trying to protect you from getting hurt. But sweetheart, it is only keeping true love away from you. Open your heart. Don't let this act as a self-fulfilling prophecy by just watching your work and dropping that negativity. On your worksheet, that's your third and last exercise, folks, so that you can actually practice this. Write down some negative beliefs and teach yourself how to refocus. Show yourself that there are great couples out there. Show yourself that there are people who make this seem like not work. Show yourself that there are friends of yours who dated and just met the best person on the planet, even though they were 56 years old. Turn that ship right around. And remember, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. Our thoughts shape our reality. So if you just take this step with me, you will see absolutely everything in your dating and your love life turn around. And here's step 5. Do you remember in the definition of soulmates when I said that soulmate relationships are easy? Do you remember when I said that soulmate relationships are inevitable and cannot miss you? So by that token, they cannot include heavy lifting. Let me ask you a question. When you go out in the dating and relationships world with anyone, do you often find that it's a lot of work? Do you often find that you end up doing a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the planning, a lot of the soliciting? Well, if so, stop that right now. Doing a lot or most of the heavy lifting is not a good sign. Again, our premise here is that your soulmate must come to you. You cannot avoid your soulmate. And so it can't take a lot of work to find or attract or be with this person. If you believe this principle, you will operate from a place that knows that soulmate love flows, which means that the other person will reciprocate your enthusiasm. The other person is as motivated as you to be in the relationship. In dating, this means they're excited about you too. In relationship, this means they're excited about you too. They are doing their share. A soulmate relationship is reciprocal, so know this. Once you have established a good connection with someone, the rest is easy. The point to remember here is the right person, highly motivated to bond with you, so do not waste your time if someone is not showing sufficient interest. And sweetheart, that is just as true in a relationship. No one needs to force or beg anyone to be their soulmate, least of all, someone as awesome as you. And here's step 6, don't settle. That's probably the biggest takeaway that I have from my divorce. Do you remember when I told you that I just wanted to get married so that I wouldn't die a spinster at the age of 31? So I basically just settled for the best I thought I could get. Well, don't do it. Don't settle. In fact, you will find that soulmate love is the exact opposite of settling. You see, you literally can't feel like you're settling if you're at this level of love. First of all, remember that we said that you cannot miss your soulmate. Well, how do you think that you don't miss them? Physical chemistry. Physical chemistry in abundance. You will have crackling chemistry with your love at any age or in any size. And in fact, that attraction is a very strong indication that you are with the one. Secondly, they will actually attract you by the very qualities you truly want from your conscious asking, from asking from the right place. And how do you get to the right place? By loving yourself, by appreciating who you are, by knowing how worthy you are, and standing for everything you deserve. Focus now on loving you. By loving you, I don't just mean take more bubble baths, buy yourself flowers, get that motorcycle you've been eyeing, although those things never hurt. I mean get mighty clear about how awesome you are. Do you know how many people would kill to stand in your shoes right now? Here, in this place, in this physical body, in this time and space? I do. I know how many people would love to be in my shoes. And I wish I'd known back then when I was 31 years old how valuable I was, how nice I am, what a catch I was, what a catch I still am. A lovely person gets to be with me. I know it now. And from this knowing, I ask better. I want you to do the same, because this, standing for what you deserve, upholding your standards, and loving yourself will get you the love that you want. And the final step, have faith. Believe that the universe has your back. The final step is to know that at some point you have done everything that you can, and you can surrender now to the universe, to a force that is greater than you. There are things that happen on this earth for a reason that we cannot see, but we still know that they're happening. They are the forces of the law of attraction. They are the forces of source. They are the forces of love. They are what allows us to always know that everything is always working out. Maybe you've been dating for a really long time. Maybe you've been with the same person for a long time, but they haven't put a ring on it yet. Maybe you are married or in a very stable partnership, but you just got cheated on. And unfortunately, you're going through a little period of couch surfing at the moment. Sometimes the battle has been going on too long, and the going just has gotten very, very tough. Don't stop believing. If they are your soulmate, it will work out. And no matter what, your soulmate is out there. The problem is only that you just don't see the full picture yet. Faith is knowing that the full picture will come full circle. A few years ago, I had a friend who went through a divorce, and when her husband left her, she went to pieces. For months, she went on and on about how there would never be another one like him, that he was the one, that there was no one ever who could replace him. We lost touch after that breakup, and many years went by and I didn't see her. And then, a couple of months ago, I was walking around in Tribeca and I saw her. She was on the street pushing two toddlers in a stroller, and she was pushing them alongside a really handsome man. She looked happy. I stopped her, said hi, and she introduced me to him as her husband. I gushed about how happy I was to see her like this, how happy I was to see that she'd come out of that ordeal this way. And she said, "You know what? I'm so glad it never worked out with that guy. Not just because this guy is so amazing, but I already heard that he'd been married and divorced in the time that we've been apart, and he'd had some pretty major problems financially and professionally in that time too." You see, it turns out that she had never been rejected. She had been spared. No matter where you are right now, know that your story always ends well too. Faith is this trust. It's this knowing that there's a plan and the plan is always working out. When you can embrace anything that happens to you, even breakups and big difficulties, stay at rest and stay in peace, and you will get everything that's lined up for you. In closing, I want to tell you one last little story. Last year, I attended a big Shabbat dinner, and across from me was this elderly couple, a couple in their 80s, and they were really lovey-dovey. I told them that I thought it was so nice to see a couple like them, so googly after so many years. What was their secret? And the husband looked at me with a big goofy smile on his face and went, "What? We've only been together for 2 years, sweetheart." I gasped, and he continued. He said, "You see, just when you think it's all over, it can begin again." I want to leave you with that beautiful thought. No matter where you are on the love spectrum right now, know that anything can begin again. In coaching, I've learned that nothing is more important than understanding this piece, the love piece. Because no matter how successful we are, the simple truth is, without intimate love, we are never fully satisfied. So go on and get your love. It is my prayer for you, and I'm blessing each and every one of you to go out there and find their soulmate love, the love that you deserve. This here is your only go-around around the planet. No matter what you think of yourself right now, there has never been another person like you, and there will never be another person like you again. You are a very unique expression, and you're available just for this short amount of time. You're a really big deal, and you should have everything that you want. I want you to decide that it's your time. And I really want to thank you for having been here today. Okay, everybody, I'm back. I hope that you enjoyed that. I am seeing all of your comments, and I'm so thankful that you've been here. First of all, thank you to all of the very nice people who have congratulated me on wearing yellow. This is my signature color. I do look great. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say. I'm going to read out loud some of the questions that you guys have posted to me. I think we only have time for 2 or 3. And then I also want you to know, before we go into this, what your freebies are. For those of you who have attended the live webinar and those of you alone, I want you to know that each and every one of you, from now until the end of the month, have the opportunity to schedule a 30-minute private one-on-one consultation with me via FaceTime. We will talk about you and your desires and your goal and how we can get you as quickly as possible to it. All you have to do is email keren@kareneldad.com, and Alyssa is going to find you a time for sure. And now to the questions before I give you the second freebie, which actually will come with the big announcement. Heather asks, some believe your soulmate is your greatest teacher. Does that mean that you may have a lot of conflict with your soulmate in order to learn from the conflict? Oh, God, Heather, that's the best question that has ever been asked. You know, that does not mean that you should have a lot of conflict. In fact, it is too much drama. While we believe that people are supposed to come together in order to encourage growth, we do not believe that opposites attract. There is no reason for you to feel friction. And remember, it's because it is antithetical to the idea that soulmate love should be easy. It should feel easy. You know, today I am with my soulmate. I am with the love of my life. I believe with all my heart that he is. And we definitely have challenges, but the challenges are always figure outable. They're always going somewhere. They're never below the belt. They're never difficult. They're never strained. They are always going somewhere. And then even if you do fall apart, you end up rising to your next level. You see, if it is really about growth in this lifetime, then you can also understand why you will always be striving for more and why there can be more than one soulmate in this lifetime. I hope that that answered your question. A question from Alyssa. I say a lot of things like, I'm focusing on myself, on my business, on my spiritual growth, etc. right now, so I'm not really looking for a relationship or soulmate. I am happily single. Do you feel a soulmate connection would transcend those thoughts, or does personal timing and mentality put up a metaphorical block for soulmate connections? First of all, slow clap on the phenomenal formulation of that question. I love it, and I really enjoyed it so much. There is such a thing as perfect timing, Alyssa, and the truth is, if you're not jiving with it, you're not vibrating at the soulmate level anyway, which means you will always manifest your focus. What I would watch out for, however, is why resist? Because if there's resistance in it and one negates the other, you should understand that soulmate love is not mutually exclusive from true love. At the end of the day, they will come together at the right time for you. So if you're just open, let's be honest, I'm extremely focused on my career, but I was just open. I wasn't actively seeking, but I was enjoying my life. I did meet Ryan because you can't miss him. They're going to cross your path anyway. And then it's not going to be 1 + 1 = I'm making a concession. It's not going to be a compromise. It's going to be a win-win. It will enhance your life. It'll take you to the next level. The only thing to watch for is really that resistance, which may be an indication of you associating love with hard work, with difficulty, with too much taking of your time, or taking you away from your other wonderful and commendable practices. I hope that helped you too. Teresa asks, what do you think about people who come back into your life? Is that a good sign, or should you never go back? I've heard both as advice. Oh, well. That's another big matzo ball of a question. Well done, Teresa. I really, really am enjoying that question. Look, here's the deal. Soulmates, unavoidable, so they will come back to you. But I promise you, if it is not in flow, meaning it's difficult, it's rife with difficulty, it's rife with questions, it is most likely not a soulmate. It's most likely just something very attractive and really sexy that you would like to explore. I'd like to take a moment right now to show you my wall of weddings. I have several pictures. That's my sister right there. That is my sainted grandmother. May she rest in peace. Me dancing with my father. And I have several pictures of wonderful couples who've gotten happily married, including some really famous ones who've enjoyed getting engaged with Date with Enthusiasm. The truth is, all of them had to, Teresa, to your point, drop that drama, to really just go for what they truly wanted and what their heart desired and what felt really good to them. That is what soulmate love is supposed to think and feel like. If you are interested in finally breaking through to that next level, I can't recommend Date with Enthusiasm enough. It includes 7 videos just like this. It includes 7 audios and 7 worksheets. And for those who didn't make today's webinar, I will be sending out a full replay of the presentation and the worksheet that was promised to you. So you guys can replay this and you can do that wonderful worksheet in lifetime. And you can also email me with any additional questions that you may have. I hope that this has satisfied most of you. I'd like to thank you all so much for being here today and for asking such thoughtful questions. And I promise to keep this at 45 minutes, and I'm going to keep that promise. Until the next time, I really meant it when I say I am blessing you for the huge love success that I know that you deserve. Thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute honor.